Happy New Year and welcome back to the Spotlight Games podcast for episode 148, our first of 2025. Today, we are making history. Today, we're doing something that's never been done on Spotlight Games before. Today, I'm going to be revealing the 2024 Game of the Year for Spotlight Games, but I'm not doing it alone. Joining me with his long-awaited return, my sweet dumpster boy, Kamen Darty. Welcome back to the show, Kamen.
Patrick, I'm delighted to be here.
Round of applause. The crowd is going wild.
I was really expecting there to be some background cheering, or at least Waluigi screaming into the void.
I certainly missed my chance to really go all out here. And for that, I will pay for the rest of my life. But Kamen, I actually don't know how long it's been, but it's been at least 6 weeks, probably, maybe 7,
I think, yeah,
since you've been on the show. How you doing?
It's a good question. We are existing in a new world. So just kind of give some insights. I know we've kind of followed. I feel like Spotlight's kind of followed my gradual decline over the last couple of years. So glad to report that I now legally can wear an eye patch in public places and not have to dress like a pirate.
Yep.
So I've got a rare neurological condition that we are still investigating. That is essentially paralyzed, or not paralyzed, but it's fucked up the right part of my body. And part of that is my right eye can no longer see lights. So I have to wear sunglasses or an eye patch, and my brain doesn't work super well anymore. But that is okay because you don't need brains when you play the games I play, Patrick.
Let's go. And hey, you still got that handsome mug, so they didn't take everything from you.
But yeah, man, look, it's been a long 6 weeks, and this I think is a big step for me. Showing face once again, showing up for stuff like this. So really excited to be here, and let's get this fucking show on the road, Patrick.
Let's get this fucking show on the road. We got a lot of video game stuff to talk about because this is the Spotlight Games podcast where each week we spotlight the latest and the greatest in the world of video games. You can get it by subscribing to our YouTube channel at Spotlight Games Pod, or by searching for Spotlight Games in your favorite podcast app. And hey, you can be on the show by tuning in as we record live, like we are right now, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern time, right here on twitch.tv/Spotlight Games Pod, just like Rabbit128. And a couple other names that I'll be introducing here shortly. So be sure to follow us there so that you're notified when we go live, so you can be part of the conversation. It's a new year. Spotlight Game Streams back at it. We're going to be back this Thursday, potentially tomorrow night. Follow us on socials, you know when we're going to go live with a little game that's to be announced. I don't know what we're going to play, but we're going to play something.
You should play Going Under. It's really fucking good.
I just might. And then finally, join the Discord. We have a fun little Discord where we discuss what we're playing and generally goof off together about video games. So if that sounds like something you'd like, click the link in the description or find it in the bio of our socials to join the Discord. Kamen, at the top of the show, I said we're going to be doing something that's never been done on Spotlight Games before. And we've had at least 3 Game of the Year shows at this point. So the history that we're making tonight is it's not just you and me. We got a whole fucking slew of folks that are coming in. As we talked at the top of the show, Since You've Been Gone by Kelly Clarkson, we've been cycling in all sorts of friends that we've met over the last few years doing podcasts with. And I thought, what better way to kind of merge the mind than to bring in all of those lovely folks, minus a couple, that have come on the show for Game of the Year. So introducing first to the stage, my gamble worth taking, GWD Mori. Mori, how you doing, big dog?
Dude, I'm so happy to be here. I am currently with two-thirds of the dirty dogs and my fucking dumpster boy. Yeah. Let's go. I'm proud to be here.
It's big. Also joining us, another dirty dog, Jake Twitchin, the amazing streamer. How you doing, Jake?
Oh, it is so good to be here. Thank you for having me. Triumphant return.
Let's go. And we don't just have Jay, but we also have Kay of the JK Games podcast. Jerica, Kayla, how you doing? Jerica, let's start with you.
Liddy titty.
Let's
Hey.
go.
I'm
Kayla,
ready to
welcome
talk
back
about
to the
games.
show. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. Unprecedented times for me
Let's
to talk
go.
about games of the year. We got Last of Us, we got Arcane. There's so many
Ugh.
things to discuss, but I'm gonna contain. I'm here to talk about games with you. lovely people.
2024 was a lip biter, nail biter, toe biter, a few of them.
Ooh,
Oh,
toe
yeah.
biter.
Yeah.
If you have them, bite them. And finally, joining us, even though he's not sitting there at the moment, Cognitive Clips.
You got me.
He would get up. He would
Happy to
get
be
up and
here.
leave, wouldn't he?
Jordan, welcome
I'll
back
wait
to
for
the
you.
show. Happy New Year. How you doing?
Happy New Year, doing great, guys. Good to see all of you once again.
Hell yeah, brother. We got 7 of us. We've never gone this big for Spotlight Games, but go big or go home, I always say. So this is how this is going to work. For those of you that have been here in the past, we normally do the Golden Beefies, which is a mix of a Game Awards show and a whatever else we want to give awards to show. But we're just doing the top 10. Each of us threw together our top 10 lists ranked from number 1 to number 10. Number 1 got 10 points. Number 1 got 1 point, and everything else in between, the math makes sense. We took all of those numbers, and by we, I mean I, into a big old pot, gave it a stir, changed a couple things in my favor just to make a couple people mad, and then put that all together for a top 10 list that we are going to unveil one by one. The fun about this, for me, is that no one else knows what is about to be revealed but me. So as we go through, we're going to go one by one, and we're going to, was this game on my list? Should this game even be in the top 10? We're going to talk about it. We're going to yell. We're going to scream. We're going to cry. But all in all, we're going to deliver to you a wonderful show of the 2024 Spotlight Games Game of the Year. So without further ado, who wants some fun facts and some little rules like tie-breaking things and whatnot? Hell yeah. Let's start with tiebreaker criteria. So there are only 10 games on this list. We don't have like an 11 or 12 that tied with 10. Thank God. And the way that we did tiebreakers, and again, by we, I mean I, was as such. The first tiebreaker, which game was on more lists? So if there was one that has 10 points, but it was Jake's number 1, and another one was on 2 people's lists, even though that was lower on the ranking, the one that was on more lists gets precedence. If after that tiebreaker, there is still a tie, the next tiebreaker is based on the placement across the various lists, which game has the higher average. So I would take those numbers, get an average, and if it is still tied at that point, which was just highest in general on the list, and then the final one was no average for number 3, and then the number 4, which game did I like more?
Wow.
Nice.
Good news.
No bias.
Okay.
Good news. No tiebreaker went that far. That was just a fun little addition. So the funny thing too about this, so we have the top 10. 7 lists combined, but the truth is we actually got an 8th list submitted. And Kamen, I would love for us to go through that together real fast. Do you have that list in front of you by chance, or would you like me to read it out?
I would be delighted if you could read that for me. I want to say I collectively erased this from my memory.
Great. So Kamen, because he's not been here, I allowed him to submit 2 lists, which everyone is learning about right now. And we're just going to go through his top 10 real fast. His number 1, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. His number 2, Funko Fusion. Number 3, Food Truck Simulator. Number 4, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Earth Tree.
Great game.
Number 5, Looney Tunes, Wacky World of Sports. Number 6, a game I can't believe came out this year, Skull and Bones.
Oh my God.
Number 7, Animal Well.
Wow.
Number 8, South Park, Snow Day.
Mhm.
Number 9, Mortal Kombat 1 on the Nintendo Switch.
Just specifically.
And number 10, Grease 2, I'll never play it.
Wow.
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 How about that?
Okay. All right.
The
Uh,
anti-Jordan playlist.
Basically.
Coming in hot, baby.
And to end this little fun fact section, maybe a couple games did actually make the top 10. We'll find out here shortly. Folks, any questions before we jump in to the top 10?
I think so.
Okay.
My body is reggae.
It's reggae, dude. It is so reggae, brother. So why don't we jump in with a quick little mini game first? So I just
Ooh.
love teasing this out as long as I can. I want to go around the panel. We're gonna start with the dumpster boy, and you guys still. This is all a surprise to you as well. I want us all to make one prediction about the top 10. It could be
Ooh.
a game that's going to be on the top 10. It could be a vibe. It could be something's not going to make it. It could be that we're going to have tears by the end of the episode. So just make a prediction about what you expect from this top 10 once we jump in shortly. Kamen, I'd love to start with you.
The worst person to start with for coming up with something off the top of my head.
Jerica, let's start with you.
Perfect.
I feel like, based on some previous conversations, some of these games, at least one, might make someone think of 9/11.
Sure.
At least.
I am very interested to see
0 days.
for it. I love it.
0 days. I'm very interested to see. Jake, what about you? What is a prediction that you expect to happen in this top 10 list?
Dragon Age: The Veilguard will be ranked higher here than it is at any other major outlet, because of course we are a major outlet here at Spotlight Games.
Absolutely. I
Yes.
love that prediction, and I hope it comes true. Kayla.
I think that there's going to be a farm game on this list. Okay.
Okay.
There needs to be there needs to be a farm game, and if there's not, I anticipate a fight to happen.
In fact, there needs to be a farm game on the list. I
DTF.
love that prediction. Maury.
Yeah.
Astrobot takes it.
Okay.
Ooh.
Astrobot
Yeah.
takes it. He's
No question.
swinging big.
Ooh.
Yeah, no question.
No question. Jordan, how about you?
I think there will be no large-scale story expansions on this list.
Okay.
I love that. I love that prediction.
It made it on somebody's
Pumpkin
list,
dream.
as we just talked about. But
What?
and
It
Kamen,
always.
any predictions?
I do. I think we're gonna piss off the entire country of China, and I don't think
No.
Black Myth Wukong's gonna show up here today, boys.
Fantastic.
Now,
Right.
Wukong's son,
Yeah.
Black Legend, is another story.
That
entirely.
one-
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Is that
Complete.
the one with the panther?
Could be.
Panther.
It could be. Okay. So we've all made our predictions. I can't make any because I know what's about to happen.
Mm.
But maybe how about this actually? Mine won't be about the list. I think that at some point, one of us, not counting me because I'm not going to skew the results of my own prediction, one of us will scream in anger about something.
Wow.
It's me. It's me.
It might be
It's
you.
always
It might be
me.
Kamen. Who's to
Cayman's
say?
here.
Okay. Without further ado, shall we jump into the top 10 with no more teases?
Yes.
Yes.
Do it.
Okay. Starting at number 10 with 14 points from the gallery, present on two people's lists. Indiana Jones.
Oh,
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this was
Wow.
on Maury's and Jake's list. So Jake, let's start with you. Tell us about why Indiana Jones and the Great Circle made your list.
This is my PlayStation 2 game of the year. I love this little nightmare. So fun. Such a janky feeling game in all the ways that make me feel at home. I had a rough first few hours with it and just ended up having such a fun romp through this game, exploiting it and playing it arguably the wrong way. I didn't complete a single side quest, but just had so much fun playing it. Should I reveal where I put it on my
That's
list?
up to you
overall?
if you'd like to. Yeah, that's
Yeah, it's my third favorite game of the year.
Wow.
I love this game.
Wow.
Yeah.
A PS2 game as your number 3 game of the year is
Yeah.
shocking to me. But hey, you get that here at Spotlight Games. Maury, this is also on your list. Tell me about your experience with this game.
Yeah. So I dove into this game. For those of you that don't know, I'm a huge Machine Games fan, like love Wolfenstein. So already off the rip, I was excited about it. I kind of took the opposite approach to Jake. I'm probably 6 hours in, but I've not left the cathedral area, the Vatican. Like I'm still there.
Whoa.
Yeah, like there's this underground boxing ring that you don't even find out about unless you go on this really obscure side quest, and you can go in there and throw hands with gloves on, and there's just so much stuff going on at once, and I love it. I love how I've gotten sucked into the world. I know I really love a game when I can play it on stream because not much allows me to keep my attention span in two places.
Sure.
So I really enjoyed playing it on stream. I've not beaten Indiana Jones in the Great Circle, but that didn't stop it from showing up on my list. And for me, I had it at number 5. So I'm surprised, Jake. 3? That's awesome. That's great.
That, I feel like does say a lot about the game if you're not even out of the first section of it and it's already your number 5 of the year. And you said something there that really resonated with me because I hit credits within the last 24 hours of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. And I find it hard to believe that this could make anybody's top 10 with the game that I played. However, you said that finding that boxing ring in the Vatican, which is something I didn't do because I didn't do any side quests until I started playing off stream. And my favorite parts of this game were the side quests in the second half of the game. So maybe I'll understand it if I go back and play it again. I won't. And do that stuff in the first half of the game. But number 5. Anybody else play the Great Circle in this group?
Nope. I have not.
Wow.
I played
It's on my list.
20 minutes, so I don't count. My opinions don't count.
Well, that's not true.
I just, at first glance, I was like, hey, this doesn't have a lot of weapons. I don't know if I'm going to get into this. So
Sure.
I don't know if anyone can answer that. Like, hey, does that get fun? Because like with the fists and the whips, that's all I was like, I don't know if this will stay engaging. So I don't know. It was a big pivot from going from, I guess, with another adventure game that just comes to mind is like Uncharted, like third person to first person.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
Yeah, I think based on the problem you were having with the combat, I don't expect that the game would get better for you personally. But Jake, what do you think?
I was just gonna say it's such an interesting game where Uncharted was the thing that I thought I was going to experience when I went into that game, and the way that I described like Uncharted in Tomb Raider was that like those games are games where there is puzzles to kind of break up the combat in the story, whereas in this game there is combat to kind of break up the story in this game. It feels like it's all in service of like setting the scene, and I think that's the strongest part. I know that I immediately brought up the jank because I do appreciate the way that it plays. It does feel like a strong game from another age, but Emmerich Voss,
He is incredible.
villain, is absolutely electric in one of my favorite characters on screen this year. Like unbelievable watching that go, watching everything play out, and that guy is just absolutely insane. So well acted. The voiceover from Troy Baker, and I am a certified Troy Baker hater.
Sure.
Can I say that here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I disagree, but everyone has their opinions.
I get it.
Oh,
And I think that if you're on the fence, if you're not going to play this game and you're a big Indiana Jones fan, maybe go find like a 4-hour YouTube cut and just watch this game play out like a movie. Grab all those cutscenes because there's an enjoyable story there.
I definitely agree with that for sure. And yeah, Voss, the bad guy, I didn't think that they could make just kind of plain Nazi bad guys in an Indiana Jones movie actually work still. And he is probably the best Indiana Jones villain that I've seen personally. He's really fucking good. Any final thoughts on the Great Circle before we move on, Jordan?
I'm just glad straight up Nazis are confined to video games only and not, the real world anymore.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, it's great.
Wouldn't that be nice?
It's great.
Wouldn't that be nice? Coming in at number 9, this game also had 14 points. This was a part of our only tiebreaker for this list. This game was on 3 people's lists. So that's how it beat out the Great Circle. With 14 points, Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown.
9?
This came in on Jerica's, Mori's, and Cognitive Clips's lists. Mori, I can already hear you're upset. Talk to me.
9? Oh my gosh. Well, now, since you asked, Patrick, maybe the best Metroidvania in the last 5 years, maybe rivals Dread. One of my most enjoyed platinums I've ever gotten. I got sucked into that world and couldn't get out. I'd spend 10 hours a day like playing it. I'd called off work and said, "You won't see me, brother. I'm not coming in. All right. This game, every inch of it is a masterpiece, beautifully crafted, intentional, great discovery. Everything they do with like the animation style, the way that they make it feel so anime, and I don't even like anime, and yet I enjoy it. Like everything about this game shouldn't have spoken to me, and it did. Like I could not get out of the hole that was Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I've begged everyone in my life to play this game, and they haven't, and that's proven today by each of you sick fucks. That's all I have to say.
Would we,
Wow.
as a panel, agree that he was just angry yelling?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
You
One
beat
prediction
for
has
Patrick.
come true.
Or yeah, just super passionate maybe.
Right.
Sure,
Thank you,
sure.
Jerica. Thank you for that.
It
Yeah.
was positively passionate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jerica, this game
Until that last bit.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did, yeah, sure.
Valid.
Jerica, this game was
And
also
now-
on your list.
We'll see how he reacts when he hears this, but like I had to put on my list because there's two games that have specifically I was a backseat gamer on pretty much because most of my year was taken up by Destiny. Destiny had a lot of content this year or last year now.
Sure.
So didn't get to as many games. But I did watch my girlfriend play this. And anything that gets her invested for literally it will be the only thing she does until she beats and gets the platinum. Like any game that makes that list is gonna be a game of the year in my book. Cause for her, like jumping in, other than Celeste, I think this was the other, Metrovania style game that she's played. And just watching the play style and, a lot of the art, how the abilities, I feel like you get those at the right times throughout the whole game.
Yep.
All that to say, like, I think it's really cool when an IP like this that's known for certain types of gameplay can be adapted to this style of game. And I want to see more of that. And yeah, just for them to be able to take a Prince of Persia game that I'm aware of, like the last Prince of Persia game I played was like definitely 10 plus years ago.
Sure.
And adapting it to this kind of game style is a win and deserves to be on a list for sure. Hell
yeah. Cog, you are the third person who had Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown on your list. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, I mean, Mori's impassioned speech was summed up really nicely. And the fact that both Audrey and Mori got the platinum, I mean, kudos. I played on Switch, so that wasn't even an option, but I was like, there's no way I'm going to go for all the achievements because some of those like spiky puzzles and stuff got like real tricky. But like, no, it's a fantastic game. I definitely wish that it would have gotten the proper attention from Ubisoft and not had these stupid lofty sales numbers that they expect, breaking records every 12 hours kind of thing from every game that comes out every year. But no, the story is great. The animations are incredible. The powers are great. Why it was a little bit lower on my list specifically was one of my only knocks in the game is that there were some like pretty wild difficulty spikes, at least for me. Like expecting you to use moves in such a precise way that nothing else had expected you to use before that, but it's like a boss fight and you're like in phase 2 of a boss fight and you just keep getting like one hit KO'd because you're not your precision's off by like a millisecond kind of thing. Like, but I got through that. I rolled credits. It was awesome. So yeah, definitely recommend it. Sad that we won't get any sequels or anything out of it.
Yeah, that is a bummer. I will say I have immense respect for this game. I tried playing it several times and just wasn't able to get far enough into it. I think I'm realizing that I'm just not a Metroidvania girly anymore, but the game certainly has the stuff as it's made our list at number 9. Mori, I saw you with your hand up.
I wanted to ask Jerica and Cog, where did it place for you on your lists?
Number 8 for both of them.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
There you go.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
How about you, Mori?
mad.
Where was yours?
I think it was 3. Was it 3, Patrick?
It was GWT Mori's number 3.
3. I thought so.
Yeah.
Yeah. The build-up was nice.
Okay. Next up on the list, rounding out our only tie on the list, also with 14 points, also on 3 people's lists, however, had a higher average amongst the placement of the games. This game coming from PlayStation, Helldivers 2.
Okay.
I was seeing if I could make Mori a little nervous there by saying coming from PlayStation, if he would think that this was
No,
going to be
no.
Astrobot at number
Astrobot
8.
is not 8.
So this was on Mori, Kamen, and Jerica's lists. Mori, would you like to pop us off here first about Helldivers 2?
Sure. Played the OG back in the day. I remember Greg and Colin talking about it at one point, and I was like, oh, I'll check it out. I think it was on like PlayStation Plus or something. Put a little bit of time in, nothing meaningful, probably put an hour in, maybe 2. But nevertheless, got excited for the sequel. It came out and it brought me far more joy than I expected. I think I dumped 50 hours in when it was all said and done. Got the platinum for Helldivers 2 as well. Just like stupid fun with friends, like trying to get those trophies. Like there's one where you have to throw down, I think, 8 stratagems at the same time. And it's a certain kind of stratagem. Being in that lobby with those 3 people and throwing all of those down and then just all of us flying back because we just sent a nuke down in front of us. It was just hysterical. Like I haven't laughed like that in a game in a long time. I think the community support for the title is really impressive as well. I love the idea of having like a game master of a video game, a guy who's kind of pulling the strings and deciding what's going on in the world and what planets you're going to win and what planets you're going to lose. It feels like Dungeons and Dragons to some extent. So I also love the community engagement. I actually paid to get a piece of art done by there was this person who was doing these propaganda posters. Mayani was the dude's name. And I had this crazy game on like the highest difficulty that got me the platinum. I paid this guy to do a portrait of me and the guys that did it with me. Like
that's awesome. Is that within reaching distance for you? Can we see it?
Oh yeah. Let me dig in my phone. It's somewhere.
Oh, it's in your phone. Yeah. Make sure you pull up the right picture.
Yeah, trust me. We can't go everywhere.
We don't need to see FYBJ live on camera.
I can't do this. No, but I mean, dude, like this game took over my life for like a month and a half, and it kind of fell off for me, and that's why it's lower on my list. I thought it would be higher if I think that they kept up with what I expected them to do, but regardless, Helldivers 2 was awesome. Love it.
Hell yeah. Kamen, so far you're the first game of your list coming in on the show. Tell us about your experience with this game.
Yeah, so Helldivers 2, it takes a lot for me to want to play a multiplayer game. Mainly because I don't like anybody and I don't want to play video games with other people. No,
that'll do it.
It's mainly because we're all adults and none of us have free time anymore. So it's difficult. So I tend to just shy away entirely from multiplayer games. But Helldivers 2, I don't know, something about it just like really clicked. I think it is the B movie aesthetic, that like Starship Troopers kind of vibe. Where it's just complete nonsense constantly. Just the ability to just fuck your friends over also has like there's a really fun gameplay loop there. There's some stupid ass clips online of Patrick just absolutely raw dogging my ass like their entire levels.
I needed the samples. You took them from me.
And also playing Helldivers 2.
Yeah.
Just like it's just, I think the thing is like the game's not, I mean, the game is funny. There's jokes in the game, but like it is one of the funniest games I think to come out this year unintentionally. Whether it's bugs literally or digitally. It's just absolutely stupid. Jordan, shut the fuck up. The Dumpster Boys try to talk, okay? But yeah, man, Helldivers 2 is super fun. I think it's great. And would love to see more games try some weird shit like that.
I agree. Yeah, I had such a blast playing in another reality, it was on my top 10 list. It just didn't quite make it this time, but it did make Jerica's. Jerica, you were the third person with Helldivers 2 on the list.
I think y'all summarized it perfectly, but really it came out like a few weeks or maybe at least a couple months before like all hell broke loose in Destiny 2 because the Pantheon started and then the DLC was coming. So it was actually pretty impressive to see that it pulled me away from prepping in Destiny for like the last hoorah in Destiny. It pulled me away enough. And I think it was because it was not intimidating to get into it. And it was something that was not as serious. But you could really get together with like pretty much anybody or 2 other friends. I think playing with just a few people versus this huge multiplayer experience is always like, I'm glad it exists because it shows developers like, hey, or publishers, whatever, that these games can definitely make money and deserve a place. And I love experience like this. Like, don't overthink it. I don't need 50 million battle passes or things I need to buy in this game. Just kept it simple, made sure the gameplay was solid and it was fun to play. And yeah, just like a good time. with my friends when we hopped in. Like, I didn't feel like I had to be an expert or played any of the other games before like jumping in. Like, I think it's pretty accessible to everybody. So
For sure.
that's why it's on my
And-
list. It's one of those special games that is still alive and kicking and like getting people brought back in, which is so rare to see with live service. So yeah.
And yeah, what a great example of completely revolutionizing an original game for its sequel, where like it's still the exact same game at heart, but it is just completely redone from the ground up and is better in every single way from its predecessor, which is really cool. Next up on the list, we're getting our first number one on the list. This was somebody's number one. This game was on 4 people's lists. It got 17 points. So only a few more than Helldivers, even though it was on 4 people's lists. And that game is Neva.
Wow. Yeah.
I wonder who's number one. This could be.
So yeah, this was
Jordan.
on. This is your moment, Jordan. But I'll recap real fast. This was on Jordan's list, Mori's list, Jerica's list, and my list. My first game in the top 10. But Jordan, let's start with you. We'd be fools not to start with you. It's because this was your number one.
Fools indeed. No, I mean, it was just one of those rare games for me that like everything that it was trying to do, it just absolutely surpassed it. The art style aspect of it is obvious, but I mean the narrative worked for me, the music worked for me, how the gameplay evolved from Nomada Studios' first game, which was Grease, like how to evolve from that to this, involving combat, involving the companion with Neva. I just think it was just. I think in my Steam review, I even said like this is people. You shouldn't say this, but it was a perfect experience for me. Like so, I just 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5, whatever you want to call it. All around.
Fuck people. Say what you want to say.
Yeah. No, I don't need to do that.
Yeah,
I'm good.
sure.
Kamen. And this is one of the 2 games from this year that I platinumed on PS5 after getting 100% achievements on Steam. That's how much I enjoyed it.
That's impressive.
Yeah, bought it twice, went back through, and
Hell yeah.
Also, as like a little bonus, this wasn't involved in my personal ranking of it, but it's just like a nice little addendum to it. When my daughter plays it, she calls Neva Nevi, which is just adorable. So
that is cute.
There's that too.
Quite adorable for sure. Yeah, this was my number 8. So it was on the lower side of my list, but I had a really lovely time playing this game. It is so pretty. Like
so pretty.
It is. I don't know that I've ever stopped to take as many screenshots. I'm not really a big photo mode girly, but the screenshot button, I just was spamming the whole game because every frame was beautiful to look at. And unlike personally their first game, this game for me just was like a really engaging and like, with the addition of the combat and that kind of thing. So really, I had a really good time with it. This was also on Mori's list.
Yes. So an unfortunate theme of the night is going to be Mori didn't finish a lot of the games on his lists, even the shortest one.
Yeah,
it's bad. So like,
you might as well just skip me and just stop at Mori because like I'm in the same boat with this one.
Dang. Okay, I'm happy to know that I at least have
land the plane.
Yeah, because I don't know what it is. Like, damn, I gotta land the plane. This is intense. Art style is king for me. Like, if a game's art style fucks, that's enough to get a vote from me.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, like I spent enough time in Neva to be like, same thing that Patrick said. I'm hitting the share button. I'm taking a screenshot. If it's able to do that to me, it's doing something well. It's sucking me in. It's locking me in. So for that reason, yeah, don't wink, Patty. Trust me, I almost said, God damn it, guys, we gotta lock in. No, but I really enjoyed the art style, and I do plan to finish it. I just got in my head about the platinum. I didn't get my collectibles in the first level, and then I'm like, do I just start over? And I went through this whole like crisis of identity, and I said, I'll just do it later. So I love Neva, and it's great.
I think it's safe to say that he landed the plane and did not run into the North Tower with that.
Correct.
Oh,
sure.
Oh God.
Any final thoughts on Neva before we jump to number 6?
Well, yeah, it sucks to have to follow that up with another comment about this game, but anyway, the way that I think about like as far as like, the visual aspect of it, it's like, for again, just from my humble opinion, Hellblade 2 is the most graphically impressive game I've ever played, but Neva is probably the most beautiful game I've ever played. if there's that little kind of distinction there, but that's just
what an easy layup of a prediction. Cog at some point will talk about Cinema Saga Hellblade 2.
Was that anybody's bingo card? Did y'all have a little like?
We didn't do a bingo card. Now that's a fun idea.
That should have
Gaming bingo
Mhm.
card. That's a fun idea.
Next time.
Write that in a doc somewhere in a shared Google file. Next up, number 6. This game was on 3 people's lists. So this fewer people, but it was higher for everybody because it got 18 points. Just squeaked past Neva with this one. This is a shared game by myself, one Cognitive Clips, and one amazing streamer, Jake Twitchin. And number 6 is The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Jake, we haven't heard from you in a minute. Let's hear from you on Echoes of Wisdom.
Dude, I love this game. What a delightful surprise. It's funny because right before this game came out, I played Link's Awakening to get in the mood, but mostly because it was like the same art style, and I hate Link's Awakening. I deleted that game live and only got halfway through it, and I kind of went into Echoes of Wisdom like scared. I was like, oh god, am I gonna like this? Like, I'm a 3D Zelda guy, and truthfully, like although Ocarina of Time was historically one of my favorite games ever, recently I've been much hotter on Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and I was so surprised at how much DNA this game shares with those 2 games, Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, than it does any other Zelda game, top down included. The way that you progress through this game and you can solve puzzles on your own terms is so fun and lent itself so well for streaming. I was red hot on this game. It came in at number 6 for me, and that's in a very, very strong year.
Oh, Patrick, you're muted.
There was a time, thank you, Mori, that this was my number 1 game, and it just kind of slowly kept falling down the list as I played games that came out later in the year. It landed at my number 6, so right where it is for everybody combined. But not much to add from what Jake said. Just a lovely game. Kayla, have you played this yet?
I've not. Why? Does it seem like a Kayla game?
I think you would really like this game. I don't know what your history is with Zelda games.
I have no history. I
think this is a good one to start with.
This is a good one. This will be good to start with.
Yeah.
I did play. Actually, that's a lie. I did play some of Breath of the Wild and really enjoyed it. I historically don't play much on my Switch, and that's really my only issue. Is that it's just not something I'm used to picking up and like getting like involved in and getting like deep into a game on my Switch. So I think I just got to get my setup right, and then I would be more inclined to pick up a Zelda game.
Sure. Well, for the record, I do think this would be a really good one to start with because it's so fun. It's so inventive. It's so
on your Rick. I have to.
Oh, thank you. You honor me so. And then Cog, the last one that actually had it on his list. Tell us about your experience.
Yeah, this is on my number 3. So I really, really enjoyed it. Big fan of Zelda for my whole life, and I really think that as cookie cutter as it sounds, they did a really good job of condensing those Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, solve it your way mechanics into the 2D environment. Unfortunately, that also carried over that terrible menu from Tears of the Kingdom when you're trying to attach something to your arrow. You kind of hit the same situation, but I mean, that's like one of my only actual complaints about the game. It was just so much fun. And the story surprised me, like in a good way. Like they easily could have just phoned it in for something like this, where they were riding out the success of Tears of the Kingdom being like one of the most massive games for their company ever. But they didn't. They had a really interesting, really cool like original take on some of the existing Zelda lore. So yeah, I would highly recommend it, and definitely I agree with Patrick. Not that I know you don't take my word as highly as his, but I think it will be a good first Zelda game as well.
I do.
She's smart. She's smart. If that's that's the truth.
Clever girl.
Okay, so let's do a quick little recap because we're halfway through the list. My prediction should have been Patrick will be shocked that we're halfway through the list, only 39 minutes into the podcast. Hey, here we go.
Yeah, this must be a record.
Here's what we're gonna get nitty gritty. I feel like we're gonna have more opinions. You know
that's
what I mean?
True. Number 10, Indiana Jones.
Unfortunately.
Oh, that's true. No from games yet. Number 10, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Number 9, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Number 8, Helldivers 2. Why? I don't know why I said it like that. Number 8, Neva. Number 8, Helldivers 2. Number 7, Neva. Number 6, The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. I give myself an A+ for reading through those names just now. Next up, Our number 5. We're in the top 5. This game, 19 points. So we're just slowly climbing the ladder of points here from 17 to 18, now to 19. On 3 people's lists, myself, 1 Jake Twitchin, and 1 Jerica Chu.
Ooh.
Where's the button? Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Wow.
Number 5 for us. So this for me was on my number 10. This was the just made the cut for me. So I definitely am not as high as the other folks here. But Jake, our second number 1 of the night.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm disappointed. I'm not surprised. I'm disappointed. Get on the wagon. We are doing it. Come on. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is an all-timer video game. I love this. Now, granted, they could have released it and it could have been really bad and I probably would have put it at number 1, but that's just because Tifa's in it. However, I really think this game is a masterpiece. I like it more than I liked Remake, and Remake was already in my top 10 games of all time. Now getting kind of bumped out in a similar way that Tears of the Kingdom bumped out Breath of the Wild to kind of make room for more variety there. But I think this game is so special, and it is a tough game to talk about without spoilers. But I think what this game does exceptionally well outside of the stuff that you would already assume is great, things like the soundtrack, things like the graphics, things like the battle system building off of what is arguably the best action RPG battle system ever created, I would say, is the things that they do with the story and the chances that they take and the way that they play with your I don't want to say your emotions, but I guess your expectations of what you should be getting. It is extremely powerful is what I would say about that game. It moved me in a way that I'm not moved oftentimes. And what I said when I was crying during the credits of that game was, I hope that everybody gets to see their favorite franchise treated the way that the people that made Final Fantasy VII Rebirth treated that video game.
Hell yeah.
Unbelievable.
So yeah, like I said, it was my number 10. I've not finished the game, which is I think part of the reason that it's only my number 10. I wasn't sure that I was going to go finish it, but hearing you say that, I absolutely will go finish this video game now that I've finished Indiana Jones, because what a beautiful, moving statement.
Wow.
I have a quick question for you, and then I want to kick it to Jerica. This is her number 3 to spoil that.
Nice.
You said
I finished it, Jordan. He's trying to call me out. I finished the game. I was ready to come at him. Sorry, I know. I was just waiting.
That's okay. I deserve it. I deserve it. It's fine.
There's a reason. It's my number 3.
Jake,
coming for you.
You mentioned it's built off of the bones of one of the best action RPG battle systems. Remake, or is that a different game that they? Okay.
Remake, yeah.
Got it. I wasn't sure if there was a lore thing I didn't know about.
No. Unbelievable.
Cool. All right, Jerica, gloves off. Let's go.
Listen, I've never played Final Fantasy VII. No, I'm not coming really at you, Jordan. Or am I? I don't know. Maybe. I will say, this is one of those games that's always the, what is it? The sign of end times if this game gets remade. And that's how I felt when the original got announced. So I'm like, oh, it's one of those situations in the gaming space that, oh my God, this is getting remade. And I was so thankful because I just hear all this stuff about Final Fantasy VII and how iconic it is. And I really only know 2 major plot points. I've never beaten it, so I don't know how the game ends.
Same.
So I haven't spoiled myself. So just knowing that I've been able to go back and experience this, and specifically thinking about Rebirth, I know this was originally the game when you finally get to go into the open world on the PlayStation version of this game. And I just know at that time, what was it, 1997, 1988, 1998? I don't know when the original came out. The open world that you see here, and just thinking now, I'm so glad this game can be remade now and versus earlier in our lives, because I don't think we would have got everything that we did, because this game is probably the best bang for your buck. There is plenty to do. there is a reason I only probably finished like 4 games this year, and this is one of the reasons I didn't get to anything else, because over 100 hours into this game. But there's so much game. So if you're going to drop $60-$70 on this game, it's probably on sale at this point. I don't know. It's definitely worth your money. But yeah, back to the story. I don't know how this ends. I see what they're doing because, of course, I went back to see what happened in the original game. I'm like, what's going to be different here? And I'm not spoiling anything, but they're doing something really cool that has not only people that know how this plays out, but also people like me that have never played before. Like, they have us both on our toes, which they could have just remade it, but no, they're like adding to it in a really innovative way. And oh yeah, the last bit of that game, is I had to go back and like rewatch some videos. We have a good friend, Kyle. If you go back and look at Respawning Fire, the show is on recently to talk about Final Fantasy VII. He like goes into detail, like explaining the end of the game, and I really appreciated it because at times I was lost a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
But after like going back and listening to him, like it gave me chills, like the things that I missed. I can't wait.
I will have to watch that once I finish.
I can't wait for the next game. I needed the next game as soon as I finished that one, even after 100 hours. Sorry, it was really close to being my game of the year. Really close.
Yeah. Only 2 away, in fact.
It's so good.
Yeah, this, you guys have convinced me. I definitely want to go back and finish it. But I agree with, like, there were certain story things that I had a lot of trouble understanding as someone who also didn't play the original Final Fantasy VII. And poof, you're not kidding. That is a big game. A lot of things to do. Before I jump to number 4 in the list, really quick, pull the car over, put it in park, put the flashers on. 2 things I want to do real fast. One, I want to address something in the chat that I think will make Jerica happy. Rabbit128 has made a command, ! Liddy Titty, has Stream Elements respond in all caps, Liddy Titty by Jerica.
What?
Someone in our chat, Rabbit128, made a command that if you put Liddy Titty in our chat, it quotes you as saying Liddy Titty in our chat.
Oh, can I do it?
Oh,
Liddy Titty, and it'll happen. Boom. !
Wow.
We did it. We're here.
Or is it all together?
Yeah. And then the second thing I want to address real fast is
Did it work?
It worked for Rabbit in the chat. Oh, you did it in the
Twitch chat.
You have to do it in the
I'm
Twitch
not.
chat.
Well, how do I get into that chat?
That's under comments. Here. Can you see there? That I agree with.
Show me where this button is.
Wait, is this an audio format too?
Uh-oh. We lost.
Oh no!
No, don't worry. I'm coming back. I'm coming back.
Somebody?
No, it's me. Don't worry.
It's all falling apart.
Oh, here we go.
Oh. Well, Patrick, you did steer us off the road. It's kind of on you, my guy.
And then the second thing, Mori sent me the image for Helldivers 2, so I wanted to share that because this is rad.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
that is very, very cool.
In oil. How do
so
I type in here? Sorry.
So there's a keyboard on your computer.
Listen, I don't see a space for my letters. I can't do it. I'm sad. Moving on. I appreciate it though.
Yeah, just know that you have been honored in our chat.
Yes. Good.
Number 4, coming in with 3 votes. This is the highest ranked game on the list without a single number 1 vote. I believe. No, that's not. Yeah, no, everything moving forward has at least 1 number 1 vote after this game. But this was on Kayla's list. So we're going to hear from Kayla.
Scoreboard.
Jerica's list. And this was on Cognitive Clips' list.
Wow.
And this was on our special 8th list from Kamen. Animal Well.
Can't wait to talk about this game.
Animal Well, number 4.
You want me to start, Patrick? You want me to start?
Kamen, yeah, let's
Please do. Please.
I don't know what the fuck's going on in this game. I don't know what's happening at any point in time. I was just confused and sad. And then I stopped after about an hour because I was just too confused and too sad. And this was before half of my brain stopped working. So just imagine
Oh,
Just imagine putting that in front of me now.
iconic quote here.
He's not
I want
wrong.
that on a shirt.
Yeah, let's clip that, Rabbit.
It's true.
Add
So-
that, George. Upload a new version of your video essay and have that in your video
Yeah.
essay. But
know.
Jordan,
Sorry.
no, you're fine. Jordan, this was a game that you have waxed poetic about
have.
throughout the year. One of your favorites. This was your number 3. Am I correct? Am I remembering correctly?
Number 2.
Number 2. See, I didn't remember correctly. Yeah, tell us about Animal Well and why it's so high on your list.
For sure. As you may have, I probably said it a million times in the show, the Metroidvania sicko of the group.
Yeah.
So, you already knew it was going to be pretty high on my list, no matter what. But just, it's just so innovative. They're just the style and the items and the.
Yeah.
No, but for real, I just had such a blast with it. I could not believe what Billy Basso fit into like a 40 megabyte file size as far as how many like little secrets you could find and just the little quirks, little cutenesses that you find, all the animals and the jumping and the things, just jump around like a little blob. It's a fun time. And that was the other game that I got the 100% on Steam and then PS5. So we rounded out that double completionist. Well, we don't use that word in this house anymore. Sorry.
Sure. Double. We don't say the word double. Not after the accident. Jerica, also on your list. This was your number. Where's your list? Your number 5.
Yeah. But I also have.
You sound very upset by it.
I have another list. And actually, before I get into my other list, and I'm not going to keep going and ramble like I did last time, but I will say I don't know if Jordan remembers, but I remember we watched the trailer for Animal Well, and I was like, that's like my wet dream. That's what I think about constantly when I play this game, though.
Yeah.
Which might be inappropriate to say.
I think what happened
All
is
things.
We support Nocturnal Emission at Spotlight GameSpot.
No.
We do.
Okay. But that's
I think you guys
yeah.
told me to go with to think with my dick instead of my heart for the
There we go.
draft. And then I picked that. And then you guys rightfully dogpiled onto that and just ran with it. So
Yeah.
Oh my
sorry,
god.
continue, Jerica.
I'm glad you said rightfully.
There is, I also have another list of games that I've just started making that say, I've decided I'm too dumb to finish this game, but it was but it was a good time.
Yes.
And Animal Well made that list.
Legit, yes, dude. Jordan came on Spotlight Games with me and we streamed like 2 hours of it. And I had a lovely time playing with Jordan because every 5 seconds he'd be like, no, you're an idiot. Do that instead. And then when I tried to play it alone after that, because it was like, all right, I finally understand this game. What a 180 I've taken on Animal Well. I put about 7 more minutes into that game because the second I was playing alone, I was like, fuck this game.
Wow.
I
That
don't
stream
know
was
what
so
it
fun,
wants
though.
from me.
Yeah, I could
That
only
was
play with
hilarious.
like my girlfriend around because she, of course, beat it. Got to all the little secret endings and all kinds of shit. And just, she's just a genius. She'll be over there saying, no. I'm like, yeah, you are. Like, I can't do this. I have given up. But it's on my list because of how simple it is, but how extremely complex it can be. It's so simply done. Like, it's
Just like Jordan.
it's a work of art. It truly is. And also the animals are cute. Down in that well, I like a lot of weird
scary.
animals doing some weird
Yes,
shit.
Ryan Selvey in the chat. Bizarrely a little scary. That game is terrifying.
A little scary in a fun way.
Yeah, for sure. Any other final thoughts on Animal Well before we go to number 3?
I just want to hear Jake's thoughts on it.
Oh,
Animal Well thinks it's so fucking cool.
Because it is. It's so
Animal
cool.
Well thinks it's oh my god, you wouldn't believe the things that Animal Well is. I did not beat the game.
Yeah, for sure.
did you jump on the things?
Some of them.
He's honest. At least he's honest. Yeah.
Kayla. Oh my God, I didn't go to you. What a horrible host I was. Kayla, tell us about Animal Well.
The only game that is going to be on my list on this list, and you
Not
skipped
true.
me. I'm so upset.
Not true.
Oh.
Nope. No, this is the only one on. Never mind.
No,
I knew. It's okay. I have a very specific taste, but this is in there. I did not beat this game. I am also too dumb to finish it, but I did have a good time while playing it. I don't know exactly how many hours I put into it, but I think the art style is really cool. It's very like relaxing. I really enjoy like the sound and the music. But it is relaxing while at the same time being infuriating. But all said with love, because it is my number 6. I really had a good time with it.
For sure. Man, how embarrassing as a host. The one game on your list, and I don't even go to you first.
No,
but hey, we're our best here. On to number 3. We're in the top 3. This is when I need to go re-share the thing because I accidentally deleted it from the thing. So number 3, Metaphor ReFantazio, because that came up faster than I expected. This was only on 3 people's lists.
Wow.
However, it's a number 1, a number 3, and a number 7. This was on my list, Mori's list, and Kamen's list. Mori, I believe you were the lowest amongst myself and Kamen. I think you were the one that, you had this at 7. So tell us about your time with Metaphor before me and Kamen wax poetic.
Of course. I think I hit about the 15-hour mark with Metaphor ReFantazio. Yet again, another game I didn't finish. This one's a little more understandable than Neva, but I enjoyed this a lot. So one of my favorite games of all time is Fire Emblem Awakening, JRPG. Never played a JRPG before that. Never played a JRPG after that, outside of a couple Fire Emblems in between. I play for 3 hours and then I put it down. They just don't work for me. Metaphor is the first time since Fire Emblem Awakening that I kind of got swept up in the hype. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the way the world worked. I enjoyed the combat system, and I ended up putting 15 hours in, and I planned to beat it at some point. I thought the story was cool. I thought it was a little surface level, but I'm sure it gets deeper past 15 hours. And
sure.
It made my top 10. It cracked it.
Oh, yeah. It cracked it. Yeah, it definitely does get more than surface level. I think that's kind of a formula for JRPGs of like, let's start kind of very surface level for the first. It can be anywhere from 5 to 40 hours, depending on the length of the game.
Yeah.
And then eventually you fight God and kill God. But Metaphor, this was my number 3. I just finished it a couple weeks ago. I kind of had a slow burn from when it came out in October and then I put like 70 hours in over the holidays because I got the PlayStation Portal. It's the perfect game for the PlayStation Portal. But it is Atlas at their best for the most part. I do think that I am still the Persona 4 sicko over Metaphor, but objectively Metaphor, like this is Atlas at their best. Like it's the first time that they went full fantasy. We're not doing the school sim of it all, but the kind of the mix of action combat with the turn-based combat works so well. Their kind of ability to make the calendar system not deeply overwhelming like it is in Persona games. Like there is enough time that I still follow the guide, but a friend of ours, Eric the Human, aka Mr. the Human, who is going to be on to talk about Metaphor soon, as a quick spoiler, he was like, I loved that this game didn't require a walkthrough. And I wish that I had played it without a walkthrough, because I realized at the end of it, I didn't need a walkthrough. I just am so conditioned to need a walkthrough for an Atlas game. But yeah, I had such a good time with it. It does so much shit so well. And I think it's worth trying out if you like the genre. But Kamen, you have the platinum in this game.
What?
So tell us about your experience with Metaphor.
Wow.
So Metaphor's platinum is about 130 hours to get, and not to get sad or anything, but like, so played Metaphor when I was in the hospital, and Metaphor was really special to me because after getting out of the hospital, things were pretty dark and pretty shit. And so just kind of dove right into Metaphor and spent so much time, literally 130 hours. Requires almost two full playthroughs. During that time, you just spend so much time with these characters. You can just fall in love like with the world, with the characters, with everything. And like Patrick said, this is Atlas at their best. The way that I think that the big catch here that's different than most JRPGs is that lower level enemies you can just kill, like just punch them one time and you're done.
Yeah,
and using that to grind is so nice because you don't have to sit in turn-based battles to just wax poetic and try to get through these encounters to level up. So going through that makes it so much more fun, which makes the pacing feel much better and makes grinding feel less like a chore, which a lot of JRPGs do. And then at the end, you also get to kill God, and that's why we play these games. And so that's why this was my number one.
Yeah, the honing of the dungeon system from other Atlas games, like you said, of like once you get to a high enough level, you can just carve through them in the open world, is such an amazing quality of life improvement for a JRPG, and one that will be hard to not have in future JRPGs, of like when you have to do that grind and it's God, I have to do this battle for the 175th time and I'm just doing it for fucking 25 XP or whatever. I hope that is one of those things that we start seeing in more JRPGs, because it really made the like final third of that game just flow so much smoother because of that. Okay. Top 2. Can you believe it?
Can't.
It's all led to this. That's
Yes.
the right answer, Jerica. Number 2 on our list. This was on the most people's lists. This was on 6 of 7 lists. Everybody but Kayla.
Except for me.
It got a number 1 vote, a number 2 vote, a couple number 5 votes, a number 9 vote, and a number 10 vote. The second best game of the year, according to everybody on this screen, Dragon Age, the Veilguard.
Let the dragons out.
Let the dragons out.
Let the dragons out.
Jerica, let's start with you here.
Imagine Dragons.
This was your number 2.
Sorry.
No, you're good. This was your number 2.
Yes, it was indeed. And I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. Overall, I thought it was a return to what BioWare is the best at, and that's creating a story, memorable characters, people I want to bring with me on quests. And I love that throughout this entire game that it was always hard to pick who I wanted to bring with me, because maybe like 1 or 2, not as much, but most of them I wanted to take with me every time, any quest I did. So, and just having BioWare going back to being great at that and not involving all these other things into the game, like big open world stuff, live service things, all those extras. Like they just kept it simple and told a great story, had fun gameplay. One of the things I've never just been able to say about a BioWare game, like, oh my God, this game is so much fun to play. I never thought I would say that, and I was really hesitant with this one. We've been waiting so long. Overall impressions, very glad it exists. It is my number 2 for the year. And yeah, a great time.
This is my game of the year. This was my number 1 on my list. I would like to make a bold statement here today in front of you and 18 of our closest friends in the audience.
Let's go.
I think Dragon Age the Veilguard is the most underrated game in 30 years. Like the amount of hate that this game gets for absolute bullshit, for surface level fuckery.
Yep.
If 50% of the people that say this is a bad game played this game, it would be in their top 3. I guarantee it. There's a lot of bloat in this game, but there's a lot of bloat in any 100-hour plus game, for like, which is subjective, but it's a fucking BioWare game, and it's a fucking good BioWare game. Like, I'm gonna stream fucking Jade Empire soon because I'm such a BioWare sicko. Like, BioWare just fucking knows how to do it. And I was so afraid, like Jerica, that this game might kill Dragon Age because BioWare has just been missing so much lately.
Kill BioWare,
I mean, yeah, sure, kill BioWare. Yeah, no, that's more fair, actually.
Yeah.
But I think that they knocked it out of the fucking park. I don't think it's a perfect video game. I don't think this is going to be like in my personal top 10 even. Like I think Inquisition is a better game than this at the end of the day, I think. But I think this game gets such a bad rap for all the wrong reasons. And I think more people should play this game because it's so fucking fun. The world is so charming. All of the companions are worth spending as much time as possible with. There isn't a companion that's written poorly, except maybe Davrin. But I still love Davrin.
Well, there's maybe like one other one too. I'll talk about it in my review.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like BioWare is firing on all cylinders again. And I didn't think I could be more hyped for Mass Effect than I was.
Sorry. Oh, I think about it and I get excited. I'm okay now.
She had to stand up,
for
folks.
real.
She had to stand up.
Back.
For
Just
real,
the
that is
fact.
the right response.
Oh.
With how good Dragon Age is, we should all be creaming our leathers.
I was like, how is that
about Mass Effect.
Creaming the
I thought for a
leathers.
second that the chat was making that happen, but it was Jordan's voice. I was like, is that coming through the computer?
Yeah.
They are chanting.
It sounded not of this earth. So, anywho, yes.
Yeah.
So ready.
I am
What a
not of this
fucking
earth,
game.
according to some.
So yeah, this was on somewhere on everybody's list other than Kayla's, as we previously said. Who else wants to chime in here? Instead of, if somebody doesn't want to chime in, I'm just going to open it up to the crowd. Anybody that had it on their list that wants to jump in and say something about the Veilguard.
Yeah, I'll
This is-
I'll just say a couple words. It was on my number 10, and that's mostly because I haven't finished it yet.
Yeah.
I shout out to my buddy Weston at Big Nerd Gaming. He had a little contest of sorts on socials where he was basically just having his own like fake betting odds for the Game Awards winners, and I came in like second place, and so I got to pick any game like that was up to $40. And wouldn't you know it, Veilguard was on sale on Steam for like $38.99 at the time. So I was like, I mean, yeah, if it's gonna be free, I'll go ahead and play it because it's I've heard so many good things about it. Because not having played, never finished Inquisition, but yeah, it's just as you're saying, dude. Like the combat is so much fun. The characters are great. The world is stunning. I mean, talk about spending time in a photo mode. I probably could have rolled credits by now if I didn't take so many photos of this game. But I'm just having a blast with it. Definitely gets a bad rap for no reason. Again, aside from a couple minor gripes that Jerica and I talked about off camera.
There are definitely criticisms of the game. Like it deserves criticism, but not the criticism that it's getting.
Right. So
Yeah,
definitely recommend picking it up.
There's something that no one else is complaining about because I've started reading and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you people? Are you true BioWare fans? And maybe you should tune in for my review to find out what I'm talking about.
Is it the fact that none of the sex scenes are
Subtle
hot?
plug.
Okay. Can we talk about this?
No,
Can we
maybe-
just talk about it? Though,
No,
like, where the dick's at.
It's that, isn't it, Jerica?
it
What
is.
are
I
they
was so
excited?
mad.
Wow, this is
I'm
insane.
disappointed.
Show where the
that-
hogs at.
I didn't
Where my
see-
hogs at?
All I saw was my character's titties, and I see those every day.
Yeah.
I wanted to see some different ones.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No, I agree.
I was like, I feel like Mass Effect Andromeda gave us more.
Oh, for sure.
I sound like a weirdo loser right now, but I promise I
Oh.
like games for more than that. But it was strange not being front and center as it
For sure.
usually is in a BioWare game.
Really quick aside, who did you romance in
Nev,
Nev? Okay.
but I was equally torn with Bellara.
Sure.
Oh yeah, that was my my rook, my mulleted mustached rook. Yeah.
I romanced Tosh, and the hottest scene with Tosh is a scene in which you're not having sex with them. And that is
Wow.
disappointing.
Cool.
Oh,
There's
wow.
a scene
Is
where
that when
Tosh
they, like,
like
slam
throws
you
you
against
against
the
the
wall?
wall.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was
Ooh,
so much
hubba,
hotter
hubba.
than the sex scene with Tosh. Like, what are we doing, BioWare? That is a very fair criticism. Jake, I think you were going to chime in before we started talking about wrong.
Yeah, did nobody romance Harding? You absolute goons.
Yeah.
Thought about
Too
it.
good. Too good for Harding.
I romanced a
Dwarf
redhead in
Shorty.
real life, so I'm good.
Damn.
There you go.
Mm.
I want to give credit to this character creator because I made the battiest baddie that I think I've ever made in any video game effortlessly.
Nice.
Absolutely incredible. And then I think that this game is really interesting. Like, I am really into BioWare, but Dragon Age has always kind of escaped me. So this was the first Dragon Age that I ever beat. I played Dragon Age Origins, I played Dragon Age 2, I played Dragon Age Inquisition, and I fell off at different times throughout each one of those games. I have an idea of that world, but it didn't hold me back from enjoying what was going on at Veilguard. I think all of the changes that they made to this game that sets it apart from its predecessors are very, very interesting, and they work really well. I think the way that game kind of has like a slight cartoon cartoonish look to it in its characters, where people almost look like a caricature, like they don't. They're almost like a little Pixar-y, if you will, which I know is the low-hanging fruit as far as like comparing goes. But it looks really nice, and it's one of the most beautiful games that I played this year, no doubt. But I think what's really interesting about this game is that it's the first Dragon Age that was made for like Mass Effect fans. Like,
sure,
I'm so hot on Mass Effect because it's so like actiony and it's so like straightforward and right to it, and it's like in your face, and it's a little less daunting, I feel like, than the previous 3 Dragon Age games. And being such a fan of, like Patrick said, like I love Jade Empire, I love Knights of the Old Republic, I love the Old Republic Online, like I like all of these games, but Dragon Age never clicked for me. This game clicked for me in such a way that was absolutely incredible. Really, really hot on this. It ended up coming in at number 5 for me.
Hell yeah. Yeah, especially if you're playing as a ranger in this game, it at times feels like you're playing Mass Effect, because you can maybe have a little magic happening. You're shooting the arrows. It feels like you're shooting a little blaster in space. What a game. Okay, this brings us to number 1. About an hour ago, someone on this panel projected that the number 1 game would be Astrobot. Is Mori correct? We're about to find out. The number 1 game for Spotlight Games of 2024 showed up on 5 people's lists. This was 3 people's number 2, 2 people's number 1. So every submission that this came in at was in their top 2. And as much as I would like to say that Mori can't be wrong or right on this show, God damn it, Patrick. It's number 1, Astrobot. Spotlight Games, number 1 game of 2024 was Astrobot. This was my number 2. This was also on, well, this is on everybody's list but Kayla and Cog. So
because again, where are the hogs?
Sure.
Wow.
Oink oink.
Sure. Jordan famously will only play games that have hogs in it. And Astrobot is not that game. Jake, let's start with you here. Where was Astrobot on your list?
Astrobot's my number 2 game of the year, and any year that this game would have come out that didn't have a Final Fantasy in it, would have easily been number 1. Yeah. I don't know if I have anything like wholly original to say other than like this game is so jolly, and since ranking it at number 2, I've only gotten hotter on the game. Every time that I booted up to play a little bit of DLC, playing the Christmas DLC, if any of you guys skipped that, please go back even out of season. It's like one gigantic Mario 64 level, the biggest level I think in the game. It's just so fucking good. But I mean, this game fires on all cylinders. The music is incredible, a big step up from its previous title, Astro's Playroom. The gameplay is ridiculously tight. The amount of references to things that I hold dear is truly heartwarming. I don't understand how people can't love this game if they give it a shot.
I totally agree. Mori, this was your number 1 game.
Yeah, it was. I think the entire story of Team Asobi is nuts. I mean, you have Japan's studio that basically shuts down, and they take whatever's left of Team Asobi under Japan Studio and a little bit of what's in Japan Studio, and they're like, all right, we're just going to use you to make demos that we can show off our hardware with, and that's all you're going to do at PlayStation. And then what they proceed to do is release a phenomenal VR game, a phenomenal demo for the PS5, and then they're like, holy shit, you're really good at this. Let's just let you make a full-blown game, and then they knock it out of the park on the first try. Everything about this game is addictive to me. It's a love letter to PlayStation. The reality of like me going through a level and trying not to use a guide and then doing that for like 10 levels and then being like, wait a minute, where's Fetch from Infamous? Where's the kill zone? Like the Hellgas. Yeah, the Hellgas. Like where's he? So now I'm looking up a guide to figure out which level I missed it in because I want to see what that Astrobot looks like. The unadulterated joy of every moment of playing that game, the little challenge missions that are on the outside of like each solar system, like going through those and being so intricate with every movement and learning it over and over again, feeling like a boss fight, like without being a boss fight. Every moment of this game for me was just pure bliss. I've not felt it in a long time. Yeah. This is the best game of the year. And yeah, I love it.
Similar to Jake, if I wasn't like a Dragon Age sicko, Astrobot is so clearly my number 1 game. Like I texted somebody, it might have been Kamen. I was 15 minutes into the game and I was like, I've never this quickly known that this is a game of the year. Like a video game. It's so immediate once you start playing that game that you know that this game is fucking special. Jerica, this was also your number 1 game.
I love you, Jerica. God, I love you. Come on.
I do have to say it was really tough, but comparing just like how the game, I tried to like, every time I pick up Astrobot, I also haven't finished it, but I'm definitely around 10 hours. Like I've maybe even more. I'll say like every time I pick it up and just start playing though is the most, I'm like, this game fucking rules. It makes me so happy and it's fun. It's innovative. Every level I go into, there's a new way of interacting. And then just like these folks are just full of so many ideas. Like who is coming up with this stuff? I'm sure it's multiple people, but
at least 3.
At least.
At the very least.
But definitely just pure joy. It's a fun game. It's solid. There's no, and I forgot to mention this with like just Dragon Age 2, but like functionally the game just works.
Yeah.
And sometimes we just forget like that should be a criteria for being a great game for the year is just the game just works. It's not undercooked in both games. But specifically Astrobot just runs perfectly. There are zero issues with that game.
It's so clean. Kamen, this was your number 2 game.
Yeah, it was. I think it was close. It was close with Metaphor, but we always talk about with Patrick and I when it comes to Game of the Year that Game of the Year typically falls into one or two categories, either a game that is something we've never seen before, or something done to perfection. And when you look at past Game of the Year winners, especially at the Game Awards, you see that, right? You see that you've got Elden Ring or, God of War, something that like stands out as like, we've never seen anything like this before. Or in the case of this year, Astrobot is just a platformer that was done perfectly. I don't think we've seen this level of precision with a platformer probably since the N64. That's I think the only feeling I got was like this was what it felt like now as an adult playing Mario 64 as a kid, like that same feeling as an adult being 34, being like, holy fuck, I haven't had this in 20 plus years. It's like, it's pretty crazy to think about. And I mean, this game is a perfect platformer.
Couldn't agree more with everything that you said. So yeah, that's our top 10. Let's do one quick, and then I have some fun graphics or little things to go through. So yeah, number 10, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Number 9, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Number 8, Helldivers 2. Number 7, Neva. Number 6, The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. Number 5, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Number 4, Animal Well. Number 3, Metaphor ReFantazio. Number 2, Dragon Age of the Veilguard. And number 1, Astrobot. What a year of video games.
What a year.
Can we just say? A couple other little fun facts, and then I want to go through everybody's top 10 list just clean from 1 to 10, since we were just kind of dropping things left and right throughout the show. There wasn't a single game that made the top 10 with only 1 vote. 1 vote wasn't enough.
Wow.
Tragically, a few games were right under that. Like one of Kayla's number 1, which I won't spoil, was the nobody else's list, Kayla, which we'll get to. But
I have things to say.
But that brings me to another fun fact, which is that there's 70 entries total across our 7 lists. There were 39 games among those 73. So 25 games across that list were only on one person's list. So 14 games were of the top 10, there were only 4 more that appeared on more than one person's list, which I thought was really interesting. And of that, so I did a breakdown of who had the most solo games on their list, meaning it's not on anybody else's list. 2 were on Jerica's. So Jerica had the most common of the lists in that 8 of her games were on somebody else's list. 3 games were only on Mori's list, Kamen's list, my own list, and Jake's list. Cognitive for a minute, I thought was going to be the odd person out. At one point, I think he had like 6 that were only on his list until Kayla came in. But Cognitive with 4. There were 4 games on Cog's list that were nowhere else among our 7 lists. And then Kayla, RIP, had 8 games of her 10 that
I
no one
want to
else
know
had
this list, though. I
on
think
their
this
list.
list is probably iconic and will open our eyes.
Oh, for sure. Her number 10, I'll just only going to spoil that.
Let's go.
The other game that was on somebody else's list, because she had Animal Well, which we talked about, was Pokemon trading card game Pocket.
Come on, guys. What the
Which
hell?
was on,
You
it was
weren't
on
wrong.
It was on
Good.
3 or 4 lists, but it was number 10, I think, for everybody. So it didn't get it.
Yeah.
I forgot to add that to
Um,
my
I just
list.
felt like I couldn't put it higher because like it is a mobile game, so I had
For
to
sure.
like reevaluate it. But
Sure. That was my number 10 for a long time. And then I was like, you know what? I want to throw some bones at Final Fantasy VII Rebirth as my number 10. Maury, I see your hand up.
I just want to ask a quick question. I swear it's fast.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify that there are no monsters in the room. No one nominated any expansions, right?
I don't believe so.
Wow.
We're real gamers.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
I
Um,
actually
hashtag real gamer.
would have in my video, shameless plug.
Oh.
Number 10 was Destiny 2 Final Shape. But
Oh, sure.
That's fair. That's
that
fair.
was on
I do-
Jerica's list too.
Oh shit! But that doesn't count.
Yeah, that doesn't count. I don't
It
view that as
doesn't count.
the same.
It's
Yeah.
like Destiny
That fucking
5
counts.
at this point. Every expansion is like a
Tragically,
whole
that does
game.
count.
No, it doesn't.
Respectfully,
Oh.
I mean,
I
it does,
fear.
but even if it was like the last big one.
Sure.
She said.
But so yeah, 8 games were on Kayla's list that no one else had, which I think is also why she won our Fantasy Critic League last year.
Come on,
Oh,
man.
I misread the results. Let me do those real fast because we're not going to do
God.
a Fantasy Critic recap episode.
I don't want to talk about it.
So
I'm leaving.
I do.
really quick run through of the results now that the year is over.
Come back.
Coming in 5th place, I'm not saying last, coming in 5th place with 34 points was Kayla. Coming in 4th place with 90 points was Jerica. Cognitive Clips came in 3rd place with 130 points. I did my best to keep the trophy out of our Sweet Dumpster Boys' hands, but I came in 2nd with 186, a measly 186. And Kamen, which we expected from our first recap episode, kicked the shit out of us in 1st place with more than 200 points, 207.
Jesus
So a really
Christ.
maybe round of applause to the Dumpster
Damn.
Boy for winning
I
Fantasy
got
Critic
bruises.
Very nice.
of 2024. Fantasy Critic will return, but maybe somewhere else. A couple other quick things, some audience submissions. How about that?
Ooh,
Gregaman
Yeah.
X, his game of the year was artistically Silent Hill 2.
Mhm.
Hours spent Balatro by a country mile. To him, I say, my man. The Dan Good Show, Astrobot, he aligns with us.
We
And
Love
then
Dan,
finally,
love Dan.
we also got, we got 2 more. One friend of the show, Lucas Olner, said, got to give it to Astrobot. Another aligned. And then someone who won't listen to the show, Sleepless the Poet, said, your mom.
Ah,
You bring Louise into this and you get the hands.
You're lucky Nancy isn't in this chat.
Yeah.
man, my mom,
Yeah. So if
I'm sorry.
Camden ever sees this, know that next time I see you, it's fucking on. So let's do our top 10 lists. Kayla, because we didn't get to hear from you a ton, not a bit, let's start with you. What was your top 10 for 2024?
I'm so glad that you asked. And I would just like to say that it's okay that I support indie devs and you guys don't. It's really okay.
Sure.
It's fine.
Yep.
It's
Wow.
cool.
We're a bunch of AAA
I'm
shows.
just kidding. I'm just joking. I am just joking. I know, like, I have very weird and specific taste, but also I really, just to kind of like overview my list, I was struggling to find my like 2024 only releases because I do play a lot of back releases. I'm not always up to date, even though me and Jerica obviously do have a podcast where we cover new games. I'm normally playing like the newest releases, and
Sure.
I'm not a big old game player. But I will say, to start with my number 10, I did have to put the Pokemon trading card game because it has taken over my life.
Okay.
I play it so much, and I did feel like it deserved a spot on my list, even though it's a mobile game. And I don't normally do mobile games. But that to say, my number 9 is actually one that Jerica and I have played together on stream, and I had a good old time. And I am a horror game lover. I'm a found footage lover. So I did put Don't Scream on my list for number
Very
9.
cool game.
Has
That
anyone
was
else
such a
played
fun
that game?
Good time. Don't
Haven't
scream.
played it, but that was a really fun stream.
It's
that you guys
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
fun. The game is like, it's not anything like super like out of left field innovative, but it is fun because it does like read your mic, and when you scream it, like you lose and you have to start over. So It's terrifying. Number 8, we have a little game called Luma Island. This game is so much fun. It is beautiful. Have to have farming games, you guys know. But there is other stuff. Like it does have some dungeon crawler aspects to it that I do enjoy. It came out towards the end of the year. On my list, I did not know if this was going to make it. Number 7, I have Banisher's Ghost of New Eden.
Wow.
I actually did end up enjoying this one. This is from Don't Nod, actually.
Yeah.
And I struggled in the beginning, but as you get deeper in the story, it gets a lot better, and I really enjoyed it. 6 is Animal Well, which was my only one, shout out to Cog, to make it onto the list as a collective. Number 5, I had some qualms with this one, but it did still make my list because it is a Life is Strange game, and I got to give it to the franchise. Life is Strange Double Exposure coming at number 5. And my number 4, which I have talked about on JK Games, but I don't think I've put y'all on to you yet, is Economics. Incredible game. Absolute banger. You guys are sleeping on it.
You love
You're missing
economics. You are the
my
biggest economics sicko I've ever met.
Man, let me tell you about this game.
Macro, micro, doesn't matter.
It's gnomes that are doing economics, man. Come on. Get with it. And then at number 3, it's so much fun. I promise this list is real and it's not AI generated. Number 3 is actually one of the few AAA games I have on here. It is Call of Duty Black Ops number 6.
Wow.
I did put it on here. Yeah, I know.
Yes.
I was actually kind of surprised nobody else had this, Once again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? Come on. Then number 2, a game that everyone should play that I've heard literally no one talk about, like the rest of these games, pretty much. Closer the Distance is incredible game. Couldn't recommend it more. Slice of life, grief story, following a bunch of characters.
I just started that the other day,
choice-based.
and I'm
You did?
really, really pleased with it so far.
Yeah, it's my number 2. I haven't even beat it yet, and it's this high up. Like I'm having a fantastic time.
Hell yeah.
And then number 1. I know High Score Weekly's in the chat. Jerica, do you have any guesses for what my number 1 could be?
I love that it's your number 1. I do.
No,
Jake's gonna love it too.
Infinity Nikki is my number 1. All of you,
Oh, based.
come on. Come on.
Sick.
What the hell? Wow, all of you. We gotta, I will not go on my entire rant because we literally just did a full episode talking about this game. I've played so many hours already.
It'll be out
of
on
this.
Friday.
It'll be
Cool.
out on Friday. Thank you, Jerica.
Mhm.
It's a game for girls. It's made for the girlies. And after, nothing wrong with games made for the guys, but there's such a small community of people that really this game is just so nostalgic. It feels like girlhood, honestly, and it's it's so much fun, and it's so beautiful. The cutscenes, the characters, so much detail and craft put into it. It is incredible. So it's my
Hell
number 1.
yeah. Got me
Thanks
excited
for
to
giving
go
this
try
spotlight.
Infinity Nikki, be one of the girls. Shit.
It's-
Yes.
I was just gonna try it for 5 minutes and I ended up playing for an hour and a half.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah. It
Sounds
even
like
it's
it's got
a
love a game
blast.
like that. Love a game
It's
like
a
that.
blast. so much
Maury, would you like to go through your top 10 list?
Yeah, let's do it. I just want to say real quick in regards to Kayla. Kayla, I downloaded Closer the Distance because you posted something on the JK Games page, and I was like, oh my god, I gotta find this out. And I also want you to know that the biggest mistake that I made when I sent Patrick my list, I almost corrected it today, but I knew it was too late, was that I didn't put Black Ops 6 on my list. And I was planning on doing it the whole time. And when I realized it today, I was like, oh my God. So I'm really happy you added it 3. I think it would have been 4 or 5 for me.
Nice.
So yeah, let's start at number 10. I was worried I'd be perceived as a gooner with my number 10 slot, but luckily Jerica's taken that title with her one complaint of Veilguard being bad sex scenes. So I'm in the clear. I put Stellar Blade at my number 10.
Also a game for the girlies.
Yeah,
Not-
I guess.
Not
I
in the
guess.
way
Multiple
that you
girlies.
imagine.
Yeah.
2 of them, in fact.
Yeah, I really loved the story. It was the story that got to me. No, I really liked the combat, and I thought the game was well designed. I enjoyed the boss fights, and I don't think it's a great game. I think it's a 7.5 maybe, but it was enjoyable enough to crack my top 10, so I put it there. Number 9, I put Dragon Age: The Veilguard. I am 3 hours into Dragon Age: The Veilguard, and an hour and a half of that was spent on my character creator. I put it on my list because I knew I'd be crucified if I didn't. So I saved myself some.
We
some
run this
danger.
podcast on fear. Thank you.
Yeah, I knew better. I was like, it's got to crack. Neva was my 8 spot. I think I spoke about that earlier. Great art style. Number 7, Metaphor Refantazio. Like I said, first JRPG in probably a decade to really get its hooks in me. Number 6 was Helldivers 2. Just dumb fun, laughing out loud at every second. Phenomenal. Number 5, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. With the little that I've played, I love how deep the world is. I mean, there's just so much depth. There's so much that you're going to miss if you're not actively seeking it out. I love that. I felt like I could get lost in it. Number 4, a game I'm really surprised, and I don't know why I was surprised it wasn't on more people's lists, but I was. Marvel Rivals. Like,
this is a DC house.
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that shit, Patrick. Listen, Marvel Rivals is a guy who was a huge Overwatch fan. I have a giant Lucio statue up above me to my left. Love this game. I've put 80 hours in. I'm going to put a lot more. Holy shit, love Marvel Rivals. See, me and Kayla, bro, we have enough overlap here. I mean, come on.
Number 11, probably.
You said what?
It's probably my number 11.
I respect that. Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't crack more people's lists, but I'm not mad. 3 was Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, one of my favorite Metroidvania is in many years. Number 2, Concord. Man, had to give that game its flowers. Love Concord. It was dangerously close to being my number 1. I had to talk myself off of that cliff. Loved everything the Firewalk put into it. Loved the design. Loved the characters. Loved the moment-to-moment combat. I'm an arena shooter guy. Grew up on Halo, so this spoke to me deeply. I am sad that I cannot play it any longer. And of course, number 1, Astrobot, because what else was I going to say? So that's my top.
Mori, just like giving real flowers, they do die after like a week. So.
Oh,
dang.
Too soon.
Jesus. Holy shit.
Cognitive Clips just lost the chat.
That may have hit me deeper than like a 9/11 joke. Like that was so deep.
You know I love you, bud, and I was so proud of you for the heights that you hit on Twitch for it, and it deserved more than it got, but the joke was there, and I took it.
It was a great joke. I applaud you. Well done.
I'm gonna run through mine real fast. My number 10 was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. My number 9 was Neva. My number 8. So while I didn't have any expansions, I was the only person, I think, unless I don't know something about another game on this list, that had an early access game in my top 10. My number 8 was Hades 2.
Wow.
My number 7 was Dragon's Dogma 2, or is it 2? Yeah, 2.
Yes.
Echoes of Wisdom, number 6. Number 5, a game that I knew would never be on anybody's list, but I speak my truth, and I hope everyone speaks theirs. Dungeons of Hinterberg. Y'all are sleeping on Dungeons of Hinterberg. What a fun little game. The game fucking rules. It's so much fun. Great art style. Really lovely characters, very charming. Go play Dungeons of Hinterberg. It's free on Game Pass. Number 4, a game that almost made our top 10. It was our number 11, and I'm deeply sad that not enough people played it to get it. There was Balatro. And then my number 3 was Metaphor, 2 was Astrobot, and 1 was Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Kamen, do you want to run through your top 10 list? Do you have it in front of you?
Fuck yeah, brother. Number 10, I think, just like Kayla, was Pokemon the card game.
Oh yeah.
Anything that can bring me back to Pokemon, like specifically card collecting Pokemon, where I don't have to like spend money on packs, I'm here for. Number 9, I went with College Football 25. It's been a decade since we got a college football game, and this shit hits. Number 8, just like Kayla, I'm a big indie guy. Not really. Cat Quest 3. Cat Quest 3. I
don't even know what you said.
Cat Quest 3. I don't forget you guys have ever played any of the Cat Quest games. They're fucking great.
They're great.
2 and 3 are co-op, so like go play them. They're cheap as shit. Number 7, I went with Star Wars Outlaws. Here's the thing with Star Wars Outlaws. This game is like, there's some things they do in this game that is like absolutely incredible. And then they do the dumbest fucking thing humanly possible to put in a video game.
Correct.
And so that's why it's number 7. Number 6, Helldivers 2. Number 5, I have Dragon Age Felguard there. I put in like close to 90 hours. Got the platinum on that one. That was a ton of fun. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, 100 hours. Got the platinum. That game fucking rips. Here's the thing. I don't know why none of you had this on your list. Number 3 for me is Dragon's Dogma 2. That game's fucking awesome. And it's divisive as hell, but like that game fucking rules. Number 2, I've got Astrobot, and the number 1, like we said before, is Metaphor Fantasio.
Hell yeah. Yeah, Kamen, you and I almost got Dragon's Dogma 2 in the top 10, but if we had one more person, it would have been over fucking Indiana Jones fucking bullshit. Jerica, let's go to you. What was your top 10?
Oh yeah. So the last one on the list is actually another one of those games that's on the list of, hey, this game is a masterpiece, but I'm too dumb to play it. Is Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. My girlfriend actually beat this last night, and she has been like this. I say I would never beat this game. Maybe. I'm not giving myself enough credit, but it would probably take me 80 years. So just to be honest, it would probably take me that long.
Yeah.
The puzzles, like, go and take a gander at this game. The puzzles are mind-blowingly cool in a way. Like, they're so, it will seem so complicated, but it's so easy and always right in front of your face. I'm a patterns gal, not a big mathy lady. I don't do math, but a lot of the puzzles that I figured out, or I helped her with, like, because we did a few of them together, were all things that have a visual pattern. And that was really fun for me to, like, each other, like, are stuck like a few minutes on a certain puzzle, and then we see something the other one doesn't see. So it's really cool. And then there's a really cool story tied to it, but very neat game. Number 9, Neva. 8, Prince of Persia, Lost Crown. 7, Helldivers 2. 6, Balatro. I love card games. I don't know how to play poker, but this sort of taught me how.
Yeah.
So, and it's roguelite, and literally I will not stop playing it. So I quit playing it because
It's so good.
It turned into like, oh, let me try this. Another hour and a half, 2 hours. I'm just wasting time playing games. So yeah. 5, Animal Well. Number 4, Destiny: The Final Shape. I don't know how Bungie's doing right now. Not great, because it's been months since I've been on to Destiny. But 4 or 5 months ago, I will say, like, one of the best expansions I got to play and be a part of, since we're calling it expansions. But the last final chapter of the 10-year-long Light and Dark saga came to a close. We fought Thanos, pretty much, of this universe. Me and my best friends have been playing Destiny together for 5+ years. Like, together doing this was really special. There were tears. I felt like my guardian. And they just wrapped up that story in a really good way and introduced some new mechanics that made it fun. Destiny Final Shape, amazing. It was also tough not to have it in my top 3. 3, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Number 2, Dragon Age Valguard. And of course, number 1, Astrobot. Bam.
Hell yeah. Base list. I guarantee you, if I had played Lorelei and the Laser Eyes more than I did for like 20 minutes on stream, it would have been in my top 10. But I was playing with Rose, and we both were like, we don't want to do math right now. Let's play a game with dogs in an airport.
Hold on. Can I grab Audrey's iPad and just show you some of the notes that she's taking from the game? Hold on.
Please do.
Audrey, let me see the iPad.
Come on,
iPad kid.
Can we get an iPad flown in from
Give me your notes.
Chat, iPad.
Sorry, I hope I didn't blow everyone's eardrums. I am so sorry. I just this will be easier for me just to yell at her and tell her to bring it to me.
Ryan's like, Mom, the meatloaf.
I got it.
Hi, Audrey.
All right, y'all ready?
Oh yeah.
Can y'all see it? No.
I see an iPad.
Not really, no.
Hell no.
That was like hieroglyphics.
Amazing.
Okay.
Psi Omega. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh, hold on. This is hard to hold.
Oh God.
And
the grunt was crazy.
Hold on. Let me move. My microphone was in my tit. I'm so sorry.
And that's how Jerica fractured her vertebra 1 on stream.
Oh, there's layers. Okay. Wow. That's
it's the same note.
Did she beat it? Can you hear me even?
Is she taking notes in Figma?
Oh, she doesn't have
Figma
her.
these
Yeah,
balls.
fake dude. What is this?
So she took the notes in Procreate, so there's different layers, and then the iPad died, so that did not work out. And there you are.
Whoa.
If we ever have a Patreon, Kayla, I'll just put those notes in one of the rewards.
That's
That
great.
if you want to see them, sorry, that was not executed well, but I tried.
It actually couldn't have been executed better. If I'm being
Look, it's perfect.
It looked like you were
Wanted you to
being
see
Find your
all the
killer, and
notes. It's
they
wild.
have like the notebook and the scribblings.
It made you take so many notes.
Yeah.
You need some
It's
yarn.
cool.
I definitely
Oh my
will
God.
be going back to that.
Nothing's more depressing than the fact that I had to create an Excel spreadsheet to platinum Nexomon, the Pokemon ripoff game. So like taking notes for a puzzle game, I feel like is like definitely several bars higher than this shit I went through for
Okay.
that.
Okay.
For sure.
Oh my God! Wow.
Cog, we got 2 more lists to go through. Cog, let's go through yours and keep Jake for last.
All right. So yeah, number 10 we had Veilguard. Number 9 was a little indie, Kayla.
We love
Metroidvania, Mori, called Nine Souls. Please check this game out. It is on Game Pass. I know Mori already has checked it out. Thank you, Mori. People, the streets are calling it the 2D Sekiro. Also, the devs themselves called it inspired by Sekiro. But it's incredible. Like it's more forgiving than that, in my opinion, and also it is kind enough to give you difficulty sliders like from the very beginning, which about 2/3 of the way through I did have to make use and just just knock it down so I could finish the narrative, because the narrative is really dope too. Art style, it's like this like hand-drawn, they call it Tau punk. It's basically cyberpunk meets Eastern mythology kind of vibe going on. It's crazy. It's the things that they're throwing in this game are fantastic.
If anybody knows these streets, it's you, Jordan.
Oh yes. Me and the streets are well acquainted. Number 8, Prince of Persia: Lost Crown. Number 7, again, I know I've said this a million times on these podcasts of yours, Patrick. I famously mocked Unicorn Overlord during our draft for being the stupidest name ever.
Yeah.
I'm not going to back down from that, but it is an amazing game.
Hell yeah.
Fantastic game. I believe Atlas, right, is also the publisher for this one.
I think they published it, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a Vanillaware Atlas joint. And yeah, just extremely deep tactical, combat system that goes on. So yeah, definitely recommend that one. Number 6, Outlaws. Just had to give it up for Gizmo Gumball.
Yeah.
Got that platinum.
For sure.
Absolutely love my time with this game. I didn't have a lot of the qualms that most people did. I never had a lot of bugs either. Even for a Ubisoft game, I had like a couple that were like extremely minor and usually pretty funny. Like, oh, hey, these 3 guys are trying to chase you, but they're like in the middle of the ground in Toshara and not on their speeder bikes anymore. So, that kind of thing. But otherwise, had a really smooth experience for the most part and just really enjoyed my time with it. Number 5, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. Fantastic action RPG. Beautiful art style. Just can't recommend it enough. Number 4, Senua Saga Hellblade 2. Shame on all of you for not putting that on your list.
Didn't deserve it.
No, the mental health aspects that they tackle again for just as they did in the first game were fantastically done. Really like the evolution of Senua going from kind of that solo character trying to go through the depths of hell to rescue her lover's soul to like trying to be with trying to almost like turn into somewhat of a leader for other people to kind of give them hope and like help them overcome their own hardships. Really cool journey to see. Melina Juergens earned the crap out of that award she won at the Game Awards and probably other places too.
Shout out to Lovers.
And then top 3 were Echoes of Wisdom, Animal and Neva, and we've already talked about those. So
Ba-boom, ba-boom.
Babu.
All right, Jake, bring us home. What was the Amazing Streamers top 10 games list of 2024?
Bring me home, daddy.
Man, I'm looking at my spreadsheet and I'm going to be an absolute sicko right now. And I promise I won't take that much time. I'll rifle through these.
Right.
But I played 83 games that came out in this calendar year. And that's not counting the ones that I played that didn't come out this year.
That's
And
actually insane.
I thought that maybe I would go through and review every single one. 1,000 times resist. Do you like robots and anime but hate fun? Animal Well. Think you're better than other gamers? Another Crab's Treasure. No, I'm just kidding. I'll go through all of these.
Fucking amazing.
But I'll give you.
I'm sad.
I'm gonna give you. I have a top 20 defined, and then I have a bunch of honorable mentions. The one thing that I want to bring up is that I played a couple games that were in early access that I did leave off my list. Hades 2 would be in my top 10 for sure, probably in my top 5, and it probably will appear there next year when it comes out.
Yeah.
And I think 2XKO, which I played in closed beta, is going to revolutionize fighting games for a new generation with all those League of Legends characters. And that game is like technically sound and really rad. Honorable mentions for the year: Beyond Good and Evil Anniversary Edition, Dragon Quest III HD 2D, Dungeons of Hinterberg, Fantasian Neo Dimension, Fields of Mystria, Foam Stars, Helldivers 2, Infinity Nikki, Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess, Little Kitty, Big City, Marvel Rivals, NES Championship Edition, Nico Dorico, Power Rangers Rita's Rewind, The Rogue Prince of Persia, Stellar Blade, and
For the story.
yeah, you want those games? Well, here they are. Now let's see you clear them too. My top 20. Europa. You guys said I didn't like indies. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is 19. 18 is Mika the Witch's Mountain. It's like Kiki's Delivery Service, but a game, and it's unbelievable.
Wait,
Google
hold
it.
on.
It's
What's that
worth your
called?
time.
Yeah.
Mika and the Witch's Mountain. Mika and the Witch's Mountain. Number 17 was Concord. Number 16, Life is Strange Double Exposure. 15, Princess Peach Showtime. 14, Neva. 13, Visions of Mana. 12, Monkey Ball Banana Rumble. 11, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. 10, Pokemon TCG Pocket. 9, Star Wars Outlaws. 8, Super Mario Party Jamboree. Best Mario Party since the GameCube. Number 7, Sonic Shadow Generations. I'm one of those sickos. Best 3D Sonic platform that's ever come out is Shadow Generations, and the fact that it comes with a remastered version of a really good Sonic game is just a fucking bonus. That game rules. I think maybe I should have put it higher. I don't know. Number 6, Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Number 5, Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Number 4, the last like surprise that I have that didn't make anybody else's list that I recommend to anybody that likes video games or stories or has a heart. Tetris Forever. Number 3, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Number 2, Astrobot. And number 1, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Thanks for humoring me.
Wow, that was awesome.
Good job, buddy.
Anybody else want to share 97 games from their past?
Hold on,
I will
wanna-
share. Go ahead.
I do want to throw out just one honorable mention that I don't think I put in enough time into to be able to put into a top 10 list. Space Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2.
Hell yeah.
Okay, it's Dark Souls meets Helldivers. It is fucking fun. Video game ass video game. So
Love that. Let's do a couple honorable mentions. I have for the top 10 of our list combined. So these are the official honorable mentions. 11, I didn't do the tiebreaker for these, but so we'll just say it's a tie between Balatro and Dragon's Dogma 2 at 11. Outlaws was number 12. Infinity Nikki, number 13.
Hell yeah.
Closer to the
Wow.
Distance and Concord, number 15. So this was when, like, if it was somebody's number 2, it made it there. Black Ops 6. I'll just go through the whole thing. Destiny: The Final Shape, Economics, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Marvel Rivals, Cinema Saga 2, Tetris Forever, Dungeons of Hinterberg, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, Life is Strange Double Expose, Banisher's Ghost of New Eden, Sonic Shadow Generations, Unicorn Overlord, Cat Quest 3, Hades 2, Luma Island, Pokemon TCGP, Super Mario Party Jamboree, College Football 25, Don't Scream, 9 Souls, Lorelei in the Laser Eyes, and Stellar Blade.
Still a Blade.
For the story.
For the story. For both of those stories. Those are big, beautiful stories. All right, y'all. Any final thoughts on Spotlight Games top 10 of 2024?
I do want to second, or I can't remember if this is in your joking portion of the shout outs or the actual portion, Jake, but now 1,000 Times Resist, please check that game out. It is sad, but it's also just a phenomenal narrative. Yeah. Also, Kinutsugami, dude. I have not for roll credits yet, but that is a beautiful game, and it's a lot of fun to play. Checking that one out on Game Pass. So
hell yeah. Ryan Selby in the chat, honorable mentions not mentioned from him. One, thank goodness you're here. Grun, Dredge DLC, Crypt Custodian. Huge L that thank goodness you're here didn't make my list. That's my real number 10, not Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Sorry, guys.
Wow.
Great fucking game. Well, that's our show. One more time, we'll say what the top 10 were. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Helldivers 2, Neva, The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Animal Well, Metaphor, Rifantasio, Dragon Age: The Veilguard, and our game of the year, Book It, Astrobot. What a fun time.
Wow.
What a lovely time. Thanks to everybody for being here. We're going to go around the horn. I'll throw it to everybody. We'll go clockwise. But thanks for being here. I had a great time. I hope you did too. And shout out to what a lovely chat today. Popping off the whole time.
Very active.
We got subs, we got follows, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of those things. I didn't do them as we were going through because we were giving you great fucking content. But I do really appreciate that you guys were here showing the support, showing the love. We hope you'll come back. We do the Spotlight Games podcast every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, right here on twitch.tv/SpotlightGamesPod. Follow us at Spotlight Games Pod, and you'll know when we do anything. We're going to be back either tomorrow or Thursday with the Spotlight Game stream with maybe another face on this panel here. Who knows? But Kamen, you've been gone for a while. We love that you're back. I had a great time talking to you here today, and I'm sure the audience had a great time listening to that beautiful fucking mug of yours. But where can the folks follow you if they want?
So you can find me on Twitter at the Dumpster Boy. We have another podcast that Patrick and I did. So if you want to hear some like movie related things, we did this one called Save Trash Cinema. Hope is once I'm back up on my feet a little bit more, we'll bring that back as well. But if you really want to see what I'm getting into, you need to join our Discord. The Spotlight Games Discord is always popping off. And you can find my dumpster dives there where I will find games that are under $10, typically on some platform that you can access. And they're just weird hidden gems and sometimes absolute dog shit, like today's review. So if you want to go find some weird stuff that costs you $1.50 that you can play that will bring you some positivity or some light to your life, go over to our Discord and you can find all that there.
W for the Discord. It's so fun every day. Mori, where can the folks follow you?
What an opportunity. This was awesome. I love you guys. This was so much fun. You guys can follow me at GWT Mori everywhere. Twitch, unfortunately, Twitter, Instagram. You'll find me anywhere. GWT Mori.
Hell yeah. JT, what about you?
You can find me at Jake Twitchin everywhere, but if that's too hard for you, amazingstreamer.com for all of your Jake Twitchin needs. Amazingstreamer.com.
All of my Jake Twitchin needs? Okay.
Whoa.
Jordan, how about you?
Needs.
does that include feet pics?
Yes.
Okay. You can find me at Cognitive Clips, especially Instagram, over on Threads, over on Blue Sky mostly, and on the YouTube for the video essays, one of which just dropped today about 1,000 Times Resist. So it was on the noggin when Jake mentioned it. Yes, as Maury said, this was a fantastic time. Thanks for having us all here.
Of course. Kayla, how about you?
Well, you can find Jerica and I together as one on Monday nights, 8:30 Central, where we talk about games on our JK Games podcast, which you can find us on all platforms as well. Me personally, I also post book reviews on Palettes and Pages on Instagram.
Hell yeah. And Jerica, bring us home.
You can find me everywhere at Jerkachu, like jerking at you, Pikachu, Jerka. My name's Jerica, but my niece calls me Jerka. I tell this story every time, and it's so long-winded, but I feel like I need to. So
it's the brand.
Right. Jerka.
That's your brand.
That's me.
My brand.
Jerking at you is certainly the brand, for sure. Well, that's been our show, folks. I had a great time. I hope you did too. Like I said, we'll be back either tomorrow or Thursday, maybe both if I'm feeling crazy. But thanks for being here. We thank you. We love you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.